Hello everyone, welcome to History and Culture. According to relevant historians, in the 11th year of the Zhengguan period, the 14-year-old Wu Zetian was selected by Li Shimin to enter the palace and begin serving the emperor. However, after spending 12 years in the palace, growing from a young girl into a nearly 30-year-old woman, she never gained Li Shimin's favor. This was a significant reason why Wu Zetian did not conceive during her 12 years with him. So why did Li Shimin bring her into the palace initially, yet treat her coldly during this time? Additionally, how did Wu Zetian, confined within the palace, become entangled with Prince Li Ji? Historical records indicate that Wu Zetian was born into a wealthy merchant family, with her father, Wu Shiyuan, being a founding contributor to the Tang dynasty. Although Wu Shiyuan had never been on the battlefield, his contributions were not inferior to those of any general. In his early years, Wu Shiyuan was a successful businessman and was already quite wealthy during the Sui dynasty. When Li Yuan was an official in the Sui dynasty, he would often stay with the Wu family during his travels. When Li Yuan raised an army in Taiyuan to rebel against the Sui, Wu Shiyuan provided him with substantial military funds, becoming an important supporter. Thanks to the efforts of Li Shimin and many generals, the Tang dynasty quickly unified the country and established a new dynasty. For funding the Tang army, Wu Shiyuan was granted a high position, serving as the governor of Jingzhou, where Wu Zetian was born. There was a famous fortune teller during the Tang dynasty named Yuan Tiangang, often regarded as a divine figure in many stories. One day, he stopped by Wu Shiyuan's home and was invited to a meal. To show his gratitude, Yuan Tiangang promised to tell the fortunes of Wu's children and see what their futures held. The first to come out were Wu Zetian's two half-brothers. After looking them over, Yuan Tiangang informed them that they could expect to become no higher than third-rank officials. Next came Wu Zetian's full sister, whom he said would hold a noble status but would cause difficulties for her husband. Finally, Lady Ronghua came out holding the infant Wu Zetian, who was dressed in clothes meant for a boy and looked like a little gentleman. Upon seeing her, Yuan Tiangang immediately stood up to examine her closely. The Wu family believed Wu Zetian was destined for great fortune. But Yuan Tiangang sighed. Wu Shiyuan quickly asked, "Why do you sigh, sir? Is there something wrong with the child?" Yuan Tiangang replied, "This child's appearance is exceptionally good. If she were a boy, she could become a king or an emperor. Unfortunately, as a girl, her fate allows her to achieve no more than a third-rank official." After hearing this, Wu Shiyuan was very pleased, believing his daughter was destined for wealth and nobility, and he began to cultivate Wu Zetian's talents vigorously. Under her father's guidance, Wu Zetian quickly became well-versed in poetry and literature, developing into a talented woman. However, Wu Shiyuan passed away when she was 12 years old. Following her father's death, her two brothers grew discontent with their mother. Out of frustration, the mother and daughter left Jingzhou and moved to Chang'an. After arriving in Chang'an, Wu Zetian quickly gained fame for her beauty. Many young nobles in the city sought to visit her, but she refused to see any of them, which only added to her mystique, leading to increasingly fantastical rumors about her, making her a legend. One day, Emperor Li Shimin, rare for having free time, decided to inspect the city of Chang'an. He summoned a procession and grandly made his way from the palace to the city's most bustling area, where throngs of people had gathered. As everyone saw Li Shimin approaching, they knelt to greet him. While passing through the crowd, he overheard two people discussing quietly, "Lu, do you think the emperor will be able to meet Miss Wu?" The other replied, "I don't think so. I've heard many princes have gone but were turned away." Li Shimin became intrigued by this conversation and called them over to inquire about Wu Zetian. The two men praised her profusely, which made Li Shimin even more eager to meet this Miss Wu. Thus, he asked them to lead him to her residence. With their guidance, Li Shimin soon arrived at Wu Zetian's home. They knocked on the door but received no response. Li Shimin then instructed a eunuch to knock again. And eventually, there was some commotion, and Wu Zetian's mother, Lady Ronghua, opened the door. Lady Ronghua, a member of the Sui royal family, had met Li Shimin before, though he may not have remembered her. Li Shimin asked, "May I meet Miss Wu?" Lady Ronghua, not daring to refuse, invited him in, citing her daughter's shyness as a reason. Li Shimin followed Lady Rong into the room and saw the object of everyone's admiration, Wu Zetian. He had heard about her beauty on the way, and upon seeing her, he found the rumors to be true. With this in mind, Li Shimin intended to summon Wu Zetian into the palace and asked her if she was willing. Without hesitation, Wu Zetian agreed. However, Wu Zetian's mother was not keen on her daughter entering the palace. Having come from royal blood and having married a minister only to be forced to flee, she had experienced much of the world's hardships. She understood all too well that the gates of the palace are as deep as the sea. Once you enter the harem, you risk your life. On the day Wu Zetian was to leave, her mother, Lady Yang, tightly held her hand, unwilling to let go. Ultimately, Wu Zetian still boarded the carriage and entered the palace, leaving her elderly mother alone. On her first day in the palace, Li Shimin conferred upon Wu Zetian the title of fifth-rank talent and granted her the name Wu Mei. Later, she would be known as Wu Meinyang. Wu Zetian initially believed she could win Li Shimin's favor in the harem and become the most beloved concubine. However, she was gravely mistaken. Not only did Li Shimin neglect her, but he also confined her. At the time, Wu Zetian did not know the reasons for her confinement. But today we can speculate. Li Shimin was still under 40 and in good health. So why did he ignore Wu Zetian? There were two main reasons. The first was that Wu Zetian, in her later years, recalled how she had once watched horses with Li Shimin. At the palace's horse grounds, there was a particularly strong stallion that even Li Shimin could not tame. Li Shimin brought Wu Zetian to the stables and asked, "Can you tame that horse?" Wu Zetian replied, "I can, but I need 3 tools, an iron rod, an iron whip, and a dagger. If it doesn't obey, the first time, I'll hit its head with the iron rod, the second time, I'll whip its body, and the third time, I'll slit its throat and let it bleed." Li Shimin fell silent. Hearing such words from a 14-year-old girl was chilling. The second reason involved the famous female ruler Wu Wang incident. After Wu Zetian entered the palace, rumors began to spread that, after the Tang dynasty's 3rd generation, there would be a female ruler, Wu Wang, who would hold the world. Initially, Li Shimin did not believe it. But as the rumors proliferated, he had to take them seriously. Consequently, Li Shimin consulted the palace's astrologer, Li Chunfeng, about the truth of these claims. Li Chunfeng confirmed that they were indeed true and that the person in question was within his harem. Li Shimin soon considered sending someone to kill Wu Zetian, but Li Chunfeng stopped him and urged him to abandon that idea. Li Chunfeng said, "The mandate of heaven cannot be altered, the child of destiny cannot be killed. She will re-emerge in 30 years. While she will seize the throne, she won't massacre the royal family. In the end, the realm will still bear the Li surname." After hearing this, Li Shimin abandoned the idea of killing Wu Zetian. Since he could not harm her, Li Shimin decided to confine Wu Zetian in a small courtyard, allowing no one to see her, except for a eunuch who would bring her meals. Li Chunfeng had no objections because he knew that in the end, those who needed to see her would see her. Finally, one day in the courtyard, Li Ji first met Wu Zetian and fell in love with her at first sight. From then on, they began to meet frequently. After Li Shimin's death, Wu Zetian, along with the other concubines, entered the Guangxu temple to mourn and became a nun. A year later, when Li Ji ascended to the throne, he visited Guangxu temple to pray and reunited with the long-lost Wu Zetian. They shared their feelings of longing. Initially, Li Ji planned to bring Wu Zetian back to the palace in a few years. However, he soon became impatient and visited the temple almost every month, leading to Wu Zetian leaving the temple pregnant. Before long, Wu Zetian returned to the palace and gave birth to a child. With this child, she swiftly defeated the two powerful concubines in the harem, Empress Wang and consort Xiao, and took control of Li Ji's harem. As for why Li Shimin had no children with Wu Zetian, it was evident that Li Shimin had never favored her. In his eyes, Wu Zetian was merely a woman seeking power. Clearly, Li Shimin did not reveal this secret to Li Ji, otherwise Li Ji would not have met with Wu Zetian so frequently. However, Wu Zetian seized every opportunity and successfully gained power in the harem. Her intelligence and decisiveness allowed her to win Li Ji's affection and secure her position amidst the complex palace intrigues. Ultimately, Wu Zetian not only changed her own fate but also laid a solid foundation for her rise, becoming the only female emperor in history and writing her own legendary tale. This is the History and Culture channel. Liking and subscribing are the greatest help and support to us. Thank you everyone and see you in the next time.